Hey guys, I'm Mitch and this is Super Platinum Achievement, and today I'm going to give you my top 5 ways to play the Nintendo Switch in handheld. Let's check them out here in just a second. First off, guys, if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button down below. It helps us out a ton. We really appreciate it. Also, at the end of this video, if you liked what you saw, give us a big thumbs up. That helps us out as well. And don't forget to check out our giveaway playlist. We do giveaways all the time, and we might have one going on right now. So, diving in, I've got 5 ways to play the Nintendo Switch in handheld mode, and these are my 5 favorite. Now, I did rank them, but, really they're all great ways, and you're not going to go wrong with any of them. This is just my particular order, and definitely opinion-based. So let's dive in with my number 5, and that is the Hori SplitPad Pro. And I've also got the Butterfox case here for it. That's the only case that I've found that fits these, aside from the bigger cases like the Smatry case that you take them off and you can put them in there. But with them attached to the Switch, this is the only way I've found. So it fits in there perfectly. So reason this landed at my number 5, I know a lot of people that have used these would disagree, and this is the number 1 for a lot of people. But I've got a couple different reasons. So I'll start with the things that are great about the SplitPad Pro. First of all, the buttons and the analog sticks are absolutely phenomenal. For FPS games, the analog sticks are better than any other option out there. The buttons are great. They're not sticky, they're not clicky, they're fantastic. However, the reasons I don't like it are, number 1, it's not as comfortable as it could be. Yes, it's a lot more comfortable than your Joy-Cons are, but I feel like they could have done a much better job with the comfort. Number 2, there's no rumble feature, which some games require a rumble feature for certain parts of the game. For example, right now I'm playing Dying Light on the Switch, and if you've played that, you know that when you're doing the lock pick, the way you can tell if you're right or wrong on picking the lock is it vibrates on you before the lock pick breaks. You're not going to get that here. Same thing, Luigi's Mansion 3, another example. If you're hunting for booze, it vibrates when you're close. You're not going to get that here. So that's a big letdown. Also, you're not going to get NFC on these, but that's pretty common with a lot of these. It's consistent with them all. But other than that, they are a great option. I like them a lot. Another downside is it's not dockable. They've got these little things that stick out here on the back, and you can't dock it with that on it. It gets in the way. I don't even know why they added that, why they felt it was necessary, but it's pretty annoying. So, and you also can't use them independently from the Switch. So if you wanted to take them off and use them as a controller if you're on the go, you can't do that. That's pretty common with a lot of these as well. But yeah, they're a great option. Definitely in my top 5. Like I said, analog sticks are better than any option I have here. But I still prefer some of the options more. So that's my number 5, the Hori SplitPad Pro. Moving on to my number 4. Take these guys off. And I know some people are going to disagree with me on this as well, but I've got the Satisfy Zen Grip Pro. I believe this is the Slim model, and it comes with a nice case as well, nice velvet inside. So you just pop your Joy-Cons on here. And I've got some thumb grips on here that are not with the Satisfy. I got them separately. I don't remember where I got them, to be honest. The Satisfy does come with some, but they're a little bit too bulky, and on certain games you can't push all the way forward without like having to force it, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, so for the Satisfy Zen Grip Pro, this works with the OLED and the regular Switch, and they've got the little grips here on the side, and all you do is you just slide your Switch inside it, and that's it. There's no plug-in, anything like that. It just slides in, and it's very comfortable. However, it's not as comfortable as some other options, and I just don't like Joy-Cons. So at all costs, I try to avoid the Joy-Cons. But this is a great option if you want to use your Joy-Cons. It fits in the hand really well. It's awesome, and you can set it up like this if you're going to use it and play with your Joy-Cons another way, or use a different controller, so it's got a built-in kickstand. You do have to take it out of the case for it to dock, so that's one downside. But of course, you're going to get all the features that the Joy-Cons have because, well, they are the Joy-Cons. You're just adding a grip to it. So it is very comfortable. I wouldn't play with just the Joy-Cons at all. I would definitely want this or another option here that we're going to talk about in just a second. But yeah, my number 4 is the Satisfy Zen Grip Pro. Moving on to my number 3 option. Satisfy, you go away. Number 3 is the Skull & Co. Crystal Case. Now, Skull & Co. has several different options for Nintendo Switch cases now. They've also got the, I believe it's called the Neo Grip for the Nintendo Switch, which is very similar to this one, but the Neo Grip was designed specifically to work with both the OLED and the original model. But they've got the Crystal Grip in both the OLED and the original. I've got the original model. I don't have an OLED yet, but I like the comfort factor of this more than the Satisfy. It just fits in my hands a little bit better. It doesn't feel as bulky. It feels more ergonomic. And this is the way, if I'm going to play with Joy-Cons, this is my number 1 way, is with this Skull & Co. case. Very, very comfortable. You also have interchangeable grips if you don't like the bigger ones. It comes with 3 different sets of grips. You've got the biggest ones, which have more of a finger hold here. You've got the medium ones without the finger hold, and then you've got the small ones that really don't do much. But if you've got smaller hands or you don't like much to grab onto, you just like a little bit more comfort, that's a decent option. And it comes with this case here. It's also one of my favorite cases because it's got a ton of room underneath for you to either store your extra grips, or if you've got the Skull & Co. Dock, you can put that in there as well. But it fits great. It holds a lot of different games. You got 10 here. You got your little pocket here as well. It's an awesome, awesome case. So yeah, that's another great option if you're using your Joy-Cons. It's my favorite option, but I've got 2 other options here that I prefer more if you're playing handheld. So let's go to my number 2. And my number 2 is the Adobe controller case. It's called just the controller, but it is a case/grip for the Nintendo Switch. The reason they call it a controller is because it's not a wireless Joy-Con option and it doesn't dock like the Joy-Cons do. It's actually a wired USB-C controller that you dock your Switch into. So it just holds it in there and then it just slides in there. They do have 2 iterations of this. This is the better version, so make sure if you're going to get it to grab this one. I did review another version that's great, but not as nice as this. So comfort-wise, this is definitely up there. It's very, very comfortable. All the buttons feel great. The analog sticks are normal. They feel great. The D-pad's pretty good. Not as good as the SplitPad Pro, but everything feels really nice on this. The rumble feature is absolutely incredible. It's actually better than the Joy-Cons. It doesn't have the 3D rumble, but it's more of an intense rumble, and you can definitely feel it better, and I actually prefer that with certain games. But yeah, this is an awesome way to play handheld. This was my number 1 for a long time, but I did have something else replace it here. If you're getting this option, you need to make sure that you turn on the wired controller option through USB on your Switch's settings. Otherwise, it won't work. If you don't turn that option on, you're going to dock it and think it's broken. But you have to turn that option on. Obviously, you can't put it in the dock with this on it, and then some of the USB accessories don't work as well because it's got the charging port through there. So that's a downside. But it comes with this case, which is my favorite case for the Nintendo Switch, honestly, because it fits most of the grips as well as this. So it pops into there. You've got 10 game slots right here, plus your pocket, and then it also comes with an additional game carrying case in here that holds 8 more, and it's got these slots to put your regular Joy-Cons in here. I'll just show you here. So your regular Joy-Cons can just be stashed inside there if you want to do it that way, and then you can store it all on the go. So let's go into my number 1 way as of right now to play Switch in handheld mode. So my number 1 is the Binbach Joypads. Now these are a Joy-Con replacement, and they actually are a Joy-Con style. So they work independently from the Switch as Joy-Cons. They come with a little grip attachment as well if you want to use them for a Pro controller, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about handheld right now, but that is an option. Comfort-wise, these are my favorite. They fit great. It's light. It doesn't feel too bulky. The analog sticks are fantastic. All the buttons feel great, and you've got your cool little RGB light up around them too. So for aesthetics, it's also the best looking option out there. They work amazing. There is a little bit of a dead zone in the analog sticks, but it's not too bad. The games I played on all of these, by the way, I played 3 different games. I played Doom, I played Dying Light, and I played Metroid Dread. That gave me a good idea of what I'm going to play on all of them. I did play a little bit of Skyward Sword as well, but I played the most of Dying Light, and I went back and forth between all these options playing Dying Light, and this ended up being my number 1 for several reasons. Like I said, 1, the comfort is amazing on these things. It feels great. Control-wise, it works perfectly. I haven't had any issues yet. There is a little bit of a dead zone, like I said, but it's not a big deal once you get used to it. The D-pad is not great. It's actually one of the worst D-pads out there. But with most games, you're not using the D-pad a lot. You're going to be using the analog sticks, and the D-pad you're just going to be using for certain inventory things. Like I said, the Hori SplitPad Pro does have the best D-pad out of all these options, probably followed by the Adobe. This one's not my favorite at all for that, but it's got some cool options. Does have the turbo options as well as your assignable back buttons here as well, which can come in handy for certain things. But yeah, and another thing, you can also dock this with these attached as well, so that's a big plus. You don't have to take them off when you're throwing it on the dock. Like I said, they do work independently from the Switch, so if you want to take them off, you can. You can either use them like this, or they've got a little grip that you can pop in there and play it like a Pro controller. I've left that somewhere else because I never use it that way. I only use it for handheld because I'm going to use it another way. I use the Pro controller. And if you want to put it in a case, you have to either take these off, or I said the Adobe case earlier, I was mistaken. It's the Butterfox case for the Hori SplitPad Pro. You can get the Butterfox case and it fits inside there. It's a little bit more snug than your SplitPad Pro is going to be, but it still fits just fine. That's for a small case option. Like I said, there is the smudge-free case that fits like all your stuff inside it if you want a bigger option. But with that, you still have to take these off and put them in where the Pro controller goes, or where your Joy-Con controller grip goes. But yeah, that's my number 1, the Binbach Joy-Con, or Joypad is what they call them. I got all of these on Amazon. These are all available from Amazon. You can get the Satisfy and the Skull & Co. directly from Skull & Co. and Satisfy's website. This does not come with the SplitPad Pro, whereas all of the other ones have a bundle. So the Satisfy, the Skull & Co., and the Adobe all have the bundle that you can get the cases with it. The Butterfox case you have to buy separately, so you can buy that separately for either the SplitPad Pro or for the Binbach Joypad. But that's my number 1, and that is my top 5 ways to play your Nintendo Switch in handheld. I did have some other options that I tried out. They didn't quite make my top 5. If you want to see some other options that we've reviewed, check out our review playlist. We've reviewed a lot of different things. If you like this video, give us a big thumbs up. Hope you hit that subscribe button as well, and we sure hope to see you again here on Super Platinum Achievement. We'll see you guys.